I am an old man now. My hands are slower than they once were. My friends are fewer. Perhaps you know that feeling, the slow ache of being forgotten. But I have lived long enough to learn the one thing the old women of Okinawa knew before I did. It is not a food. It is not an exercise. It is quieter than that, and it kept them alive long after their strength was gone. Sit with me a moment. Let me tell you what it is. In the last evening, I spoke to you about strength, about how those women carried their grandchildren without strain. And at the end, I told you they kept one more thing, something they held on to even tighter than their bodies. This is that thing. Pour yourself something warm. Sit down. There is no hurry here. For the next few minutes, it is only an old man and you, and a small truth that took me 70 years to understand. In the far north of Okinawa, in a village called Ogimi, there's a stone by the road. On it are carved words the old women say to one another. At 70, you are still a child. At 80, merely a youth. And when your ancestors call you home at 90, wait, they say. Wait until I am 100. Then we will talk. These are the longest living women the world has ever counted. And here is the strange part. When researchers went looking for the reason, they searched the food. They searched the gardens, the sea air, the sweet potatoes. What they found instead was something they did not expect. And I will tell you what it was at the very end. Stay with me until then. My grandmother could not sit still when a neighbor was in need. I remember the autumn. The rains came early, and old Tanaka-san across the lane could not bring in his harvest alone. My grandmother was already past 80. She tied a cloth around her hair, and she went. Not because he asked. She simply went, and the whole lane went with her. In Okinawa, they have a word for this, yuimaru. It means we help each other hand to hand without keeping score. You do not wait to be asked. You see a need and you go. Now, I know what you may be feeling, that at your age it is your turn to be helped, not to help, that you have given enough. I understand. I have felt it too. But hear this gently. Researchers followed older people for 5 years, and they found something they did not expect. The ones who gave help to others, a meal, a ride, a hand, lived longer than the ones who only received it. The giving was the medicine, not the getting. So tomorrow, do one small thing for someone. Carry a bag, make a second bowl of soup, and knock on a door. It will do more for you than for them. My mother had a friend 3 streets away, and every single morning she walked to her door. The telephone existed. She did not use it. She put on her shoes and she walked in the rain, in the heat, until the very last year of her life. Why not just call? I once asked her. She looked at me as if I had said something foolish. Because then I cannot see her face, she said. This is the second bond, not the call, not the message on the little glass screen, the face, the walk to the door, the body in the room. I know how the years make this harder. The friends move away, the legs complain. It is so much easier to send a word than to make the journey. I understand. But the science here is very clear. 11,000 older people were studied. Those who saw their people in person a few times a week were far less likely to fall into sadness, half as likely, than those who only met now and then. And the phone calls, the emails, they did not protect them at all. Only the face did. So this week, make one journey. Not a call. A visit. Sit in the same room as someone you love and let them see your face. There was a woman who sold vegetables at the end of our market. I never knew her family name, but she knew mine and the name of everyone who passed. A stranger would buy one daikin, and by the second visit, they were family. In Okinawa, they say, "Ichiriba chode." Though we meet but once, we are already kin. The circle is never closed. The new neighbor, the young clerk, the stranger at the bus stop, all of them belong. Many of us do the opposite as we age. The circle shrinks. We tell ourselves we are too old for new faces. I have caught myself doing it. But listen, researchers found that even the small hellos, the cashier, the neighbor, the woman who sells the vegetables, left people feeling that they belonged in the world. Not grand friendships, small ones. They mattered more than we think. So tomorrow, say the extra word. Learn one name. Let one stranger become a little less of a stranger. You are widening the thing that holds you. Before I go on, let me ask you what an old woman in Naha once asked me. Who would notice, she said, if you did not wake tomorrow? Do not answer quickly. Hold the question gently, because everything I am about to say depends on how you answer it. I will tell you something I do not often say. When my wife passed, no one waited for me anymore. The house went silent, and I felt myself begin to fade, not in the body first, but in the spirit. A man who matters to no one starts to disappear. What saved me was a child, the boy next door, 6 years old, who could not tie his shoes. His mother worked late, so I waited at the gate each afternoon, and I taught him. And in being needed by one small person, I came back to life. This is the fourth bond, to stay useful to someone, to keep a place where you are counted on, a grandchild to mind, a friend who waits for your call, a garden that depends on your hands, and perhaps you feel you are past all that the world has set you aside. I know that feeling. It is a lie, but I know how true it can feel. The researchers studied this too. Older people who still felt useful to others, still needed, stayed stronger and lived longer than those who felt they no longer mattered to anyone. To be needed is not a burden. It is a kind of medicine. So find the one who needs you. There is always one. And let yourself be needed again. In Ogimi, I once sat with a woman named Kamiya-san. She was 94. Across the low table sat her oldest friend. They had known each other since they were girls of 7. And as they talked, Kamiya-san reached out, without looking, and took her friend's hand. 2 hands, spotted and soft and folded together like old paper. They did not say anything in that moment. They did not need to. We have held hands for 87 years, Kamiya-san told me later, smiling. My hand knows hers better than my own face. This is the 5th bond, and it is the one we forget. Touch. The hand held. The arm around the shoulder. The grandchild pulled close. As we age, the world stops touching us, and we ache for it without a name for the ache. I know. After a certain age, whole days pass, and no one touches you at all. I understand that silence. But here is what is true. When researchers had people share a warm touch, a held hand, an embrace, the body answered. The pressure in the blood came down. The storm of worry inside grew still. The body remembers that it is not alone. So hold a hand this week. Hug the ones you love a breath longer. Let someone touch your shoulder. Your body has been waiting for it. My grandmother had a friend she did not speak to for 1 whole year. I never learned what the quarrel was about. Something small, the way the deepest quarrels always are. And then, one spring morning, she simply walked to that woman's house with 2 rice cakes and sat down, and the year was over. They were friends again until they died. This is the 6th bond. Forgiveness, a friendship that lasts 80 years, cannot carry every hurt. So they set the grudge down. They choose the bond over being right. I know how heavy an old grievance can be, how it feels like justice to keep it. I have carried a few myself, and they only ever weighed on me. And the researchers found something remarkable. Older people who could forgive, who set the grudge down, tended to live longer than those who carried it to the end. The grudge, it seems, is heavier on the one who holds it. So, is there a hand you have not held in too long? A name you have gone cold to? While there is still time, set it down. Forgive, not for them, for the years you have left. So we have spoken of giving, of the visit, of the open door, of being needed, of touch, of forgiveness. But there is one last bond beneath all the others, the one the researchers stumbled on when they went looking for the secret of these long lives, the one I promised you at the beginning. Let me tell you what they found. In Ogimi, there is a circle of women who have met every week since before the war. They call it their moai. They were placed together as small girls, and they have not let go since, through husbands and harvests and funerals and 90 long years. When one cannot pay, the others pay. When one is afraid in the night, she knows whose door is open. None of them has ever truly been alone, not once. And this is what the researchers found when they went looking for the secret. It was not the sweet potato. It was not the garden or the sea air. They gathered 300,000 lives across 148 studies. And the answer that came back was this. People held by strong bonds were 50% more likely to keep living. 50%. Some researchers have even compared being alone to smoking. That is how serious, how physical this is. The body knows whether it is held. So this is the quiet bond those women protect more than their own health. Not the food, not the strength, each other. To belong to a circle that will carry you, and to be a pair of hands that carries someone else. So let me gather them for you, the 7, the way I would lay stones in a row. Give help. Do not wait to receive it. Make the visit in person, not the call. Keep the circle open. Let strangers in. Stay needed by someone. Touch, and let yourself be touched. Forgive, while there is still time. And belong to a circle that holds you and holds someone in return. You do not need all 7 tonight. Choose one, the easiest one. Make one visit. Hold one hand. Forgive one name. Begin this week while the door is still open. I am only an old man, sharing what the old women taught me before they go. If this sat with you, stay a while. There are more evenings like this, and I would be glad of your company. It cost you nothing to follow along. And there is one last thing. For all these bonds with others, these women also kept one quiet thing they did entirely alone, every single day, that held all the rest together. But that I will save for another evening. Until then, be well and go hold a hand.